be part of this evening. I will speak very briefly. I know who you are here to listen to, and it's not to me. But I also was very honored to be part of the Reagan Revolution. I actually started working in politics, as so many of you did and still do, as what I like to say a serial volunteer. I started out, I volunteered on a number of campaigns, but I ended up in Kansas City in 1976, which, yes, does age me. I'm old. But it was in 1976 that I was helping on the convention. And when I heard Ronald Reagan speak, it was impromptu. He was not supposed to make a concession speech. Gerald Ford had invited him to the podium. I think I and everyone else attending realized that they had just nominated the wrong man. And I vowed that I was going to do everything I could to volunteer and help him become president. Well, come 1980, I'm volunteering at the convention in Detroit. You'll see there's a convention theme here. And I got the opportunity to staff and to accompany Nancy Reagan to all of her official events. It was truly an honor. I came back to Texas, my home state, and went to work on the Reagan campaign. Now, back then, you might remember Ernest Angelo was very instrumental in getting Ronald Reagan elected. He was an early supporter of Ronald Reagan's and a leader here in Texas. Rick Shelby was also the campaign manager, and Governor Clements was leading the campaign. The campaign officers were in an old funeral home just beside the Capitol. And if you remember that, it was a creepy old place, as you might imagine. But it was perfect for the campaign. Upstairs on the second floor, Rick Shelby, Ernie Angelo, my office, and some other offices. Downstairs on the main floor, in the parlor, Carl Rowe gave the caging down there. And then, of course, there was very conveniently refrigerators in the basement. You know, those long, skinny kind that you pull out. They kept the beer for the guys in the campaign, I guess. It was too creepy. I never went down there. But it was a fascinating campaign, a great campaign. A campaign like we all want to work on. Everybody worked together, but more importantly, we won, and we won big. We won so big that let's see, Ronald Reagan got 489 votes to Carter's 49 electoral votes. That's a big win. And Ronald Reagan truly brought mourning in America to America. His campaign was really so popular and because he brought such an optimism. If we remember the Carter days, those of us that are old enough to, we remember expensive local gas lines, we remember high interest rates, we remember that we were not in a good place, and Ronald Reagan had come to the rescue to fix it. The truth is, Ronald Reagan was lightning in a bottle. Very seldom do you come across that. And I was excited, not just at the win, but I went to D.C., I worked on the inaugural, and the truth is, I have told people that I literally would have cleaned toilets in the old executive office building to work for Ronald Reagan. Fortunately, no one knew that, so they actually gave me a job, believe it or not, they actually paid me. And I went to the U.S. Department of Education. That was an exciting time because, you know, I was the White House liaison there, and I was responsible for staffing, the political staffing, working with presidential personnel and with the Lynn Knopfsinger on the political side at the White House. We had hundreds of positions to fill, and we filled them with the likes of Clarence Thomas and Mark Levin. It was an amazing time to be in D.C. After that, I went to the Republican National Committee, and I went there because I was picked to run the '84 convention. And again, Ernest Angelo at the RNC was chairman of the arrangements. We traveled the country looking for cities and ended up picking Dallas. So I had the opportunity to direct the convention right here in my home state. You know, Ronald Reagan was amazing. I thought surely he would not visit with me. Surely he would just let the the RNC run the convention. The truth is, he knew what he wanted to say, he knew what he wanted done. He was very respectful to all around him, but he engaged himself in it all. He was brave. Many of us remember him calling out Russia and calling them the evil empire. And people then said, oh my gosh, how could the president possibly do that? But he did. And of course, he is the one that said, President Gorbachev, open those gates. President Gorbachev, tear down that wall. That was not supposed to be in the speech. And the fact is, those people that worked closest to him, and I was not a regular, I was not on his Rolodex, I was not regularly in the Oval Office. But he was an elegant man, both in appearance and in his demeanor. He was kind, he was respectful, he was optimistic always. He never missed a good joke. He appreciated, Cassie, a good joke, just like our boss does. And he was not one to micromanage. He was truly a leader. And just to emphasize that, he always had a joke with something. Some of you might recall him being quoted saying, if anything important happens, wake me up, even if I'm in a cabinet meeting. But the fact is, he was elected to be a disruptor. He was not who the Republican mainstream party wanted to see elected. He truly wanted to return government to the people. And not only was he doing that, but in 1984, he was so popular that he won 49 of the 50 states. Or as Obama would say, only one of the 56 states. Ronald Reagan was truly a leader, and I was so humbled to witness him in action and to be a part of his administration. I've worked for two great leaders, and Governor Abbott is a pleasure to work for. Both have very powerful leadership styles. You know, Ronald Reagan once said, if someone was with him 80% of the time, they were an ally, not a 20% enemy. And Reaganites often ponder, what would Ronald Reagan do now? And yes, there is a Reagan Society. I'm actually going to a meeting in 2 weeks in D.C. We actually ponder these things. What would Ronald Reagan do now? And I think that Ronald Reagan would encourage us all to link arms and work together against those who want to destroy America. They do. We will, and I know because this is always mourning in America. One other thing I might say is that the president never would have apologized for America. He always spoke of America as that shining city on the hill, and he knew American exceptionalism. You know, I was privileged to see him in action. I'm privileged to be here tonight, and I thank you for all that you do to keep America alive. Thank you for keeping the Reagan legacy